How you doing? I'm Joe Williams with MEPA. The experience that I've had with MEPA has been quite beautiful. I love the fact of the fellowship amongst the men with the different thoughts that we have together on different subjects. Every time we speak, I normally grab some information that enhances me, whether if it's speaking, know-how on doing something. Sometimes it gives me information for me to sit still and listen even more, or just play the waiting game, more so saying testing my patience. It's been beautiful. It really has. It's been beautiful. I've really been looking for something as such for all of us men to huddle up, speak what's on our mind, let everything go that's on our chest, really give some true feeling on some practices that really enhance you as a man on building character. It definitely makes me seek, or better yet, search for different adjectives each time we meet to describe on how this group is. And it goes on and on and on, to where sometimes you get some guys on meetings and get together that, we're quiet, we might not say a lot, but as time go on, you kind of understand why they're quiet, because they are enjoying the fact that they're learning, they're growing. A lot of people sometimes use the term to say, hey, I'm a grown man. But I bet you when they usually listen and learn and start putting other things together, they usually take that grown part out and say, wow, I am still growing. So once again, it's one of those things that where the feeling that MEPA gives me, I really, really enjoy it. I really do. I really, really enjoy it.
Greetings, my name is Malcolm Maximum Sales, and I'm a proud member of MEPA. When I think about MEPA and what it's done for me in the last 2 years, I have to start with Pastor Marcus, Jeremiah, and Jay. I've known Jeremiah now for 20 years. We used to do rap songs together back in our teens. He's a great man. He's a great husband, a great father. I've watched him walk for years now. He's always been a friend. He's always been there. And he brought me to MEPA a couple of years ago where I met Pastor Marcus. I love Pastor Marcus. Pastor Marcus is a leader. He's led hundreds of men. He's flexible, he's compassionate, he's understanding, but he also can be very hard and pushy, I love Pastor Marcus. And then Jay, Jay, he's taught me how to dress. If it wasn't for Jay, I wouldn't, have on this pink polo doing this presentation, so I love Jay. Also, one thing I appreciate about MEPA is the ability to have events like this summit, the ability to meet and network with men from all walks of life through technological means like Zoom this year, and see their faces, hear their stories, hear their testimonies, hear about their businesses, and be spoken to and get perspectives from other men. Guys in DC, guys in Arkansas, guys in Alabama, guys in Georgia, and I get to hear different dialects, thoughts from other men and how they think. Not just approaching solutions and devising solutions from my frame of mind, from my viewpoint, but listening to other guys, similar people in my role of entrepreneur, father, husband, trying to make it in this world, trying to come up with a way to deal with all the challenges that go on in day-to-day life. So that's another thing about MEPA, is that no man is an island, no man can solve this thing on their own. We all need some help, we all need some support, and that's what MEPA provides. When I think about people that influence me, like Martin Luther King, Barack Obama, Nelson Mandela, these guys had enough sense to be part of teams, to not try to go and become the men that they became by themselves. And I look at those guys as prototypes, and I'm very proud to call the men of MEPA my teammates. I'm very proud to be on the MEPA team. I'm very proud to do the roles that I do on the MEPA team, and I appreciate what those guys provide as resources to me. Pastor Marcus, he's always, what is your what? What is your why? How are we as men committed to being change agents in society? With a foundation of spirituality, which for me is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'm able to be free to say that. I'm able to continue to grow in my spirituality in MEPA, influence others, and be influenced. Without MEPA, I wouldn't be the dynamic, amazing, and most of all, humble public speaker that I am today. I'm bold enough to say that my goal in life, or one of my goals in life, is to run for president of the United States. Because of groups like MEPA, I can say things like that, have confidence like that, and actually create a plan, a tangible plan of action for achieving that goal and run it past other men that support me. And that's hard to come by in this day and age. So again, I'm Malcolm, Maximum Sales, a proud MEPA man. Thank you.
My name is Terrence Davis. I'm a native from South Carolina, and just wanted to share 3 things that helped me as a man, or in becoming a better man, that what MEPA has done for me. One of the things that MEPA has done for me this far is helped me become more transparent and held me accountable. The transparency of men is important, because through the transparency, it allows people to see that you have flaws and have things that I still need to work on as an individual. The number one thing that I understand that what we go through as men is that we don't talk. And so when we go through situations, when I found myself going through situations, MEPA has been that group of men that has been sent by God for me to just pick the phone up and just call a brother and share my heart without being judged. So number one, the enlightenment of being around brothers and having brothers just share that love and share that support is important. Enlightenment of the things that they bring, the knowledge, the wisdom, and even their shared testimony and things that they have gone through. It helped me in my situation. Also, the equipping of brotherhood is the second thing that I believe that's the most powerful thing, is that every man needs some equipment to go to work with and tools to go to work with. And MEPA is providing and constantly providing those tools to help men go to work. The last thing is the empowerment. The empowerment comes from the influence that comes from the MEPA men, that those men will be able to influence other brothers and influence us to become who we are. My name is Terrence Davis. I'm a MEPA man. Thank you.
Welcome, 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 welcome. How's everybody doing? I salute everybody. I want to welcome you guys today. I'm looking at all those who are here right now. I want to thank y'all for showing up and being on right now. I just real quick before I even tell you who I am, I just want to kind of give a shout out to a couple of people, and we're gonna do this throughout the day. But Mr. Arthur, I see you, sir. How you doing? Shout out to you, man. I hadn't seen you in a while. Donovan, I see you, brother. Yes. Look, I'm calling you guys out, man. I see you. Maximum Sales, Marlon, I see you. King Emmanuel, my brother's on here, y'all. My brother's on here, yeah. Clarence Williams, I see you, man. All right, Rodney, look at him. Look. I see you. All right, let's go. Let's go. My name is Jeremiah Yirmiyahu Agu. You can call me the king. I'm the MC for the day. So excited for the program today. Look, you have to excuse me because I love to move a lot. So if you see me moving, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just excited. You understand? I want to thank the three kings that gave their testimony just now. Just sharing their testimony and their personal experience as far as MEPA's credentials. You understand? There's nothing like having an organization, a program that's put together to empower other people. And that's what MEPA is about. And for those who don't know what MEPA means, it is an acronym. MEPA is an acronym of Men's Empowerment Project Atlanta. Just because it says Atlanta doesn't mean that we are exclusive to Atlanta. We are an international organization, but just started in Atlanta. All right. So I just want to share that with you guys and let you know how impactful this organization is. And I thank those three brothers for sharing that. That is phenomenal. The program today is designed a specific way to impact every individual that's on the call on this Zoom today. All right. We have three dynamic speakers that's going to be coming today. All right. So the first one is going to come up and I'm going to introduce them. We're going to get right to the program. I'm going to introduce the first gentleman. He goes by the name. His name is John Everhart, but I call him King J. All right. This gentleman is going to talk to us about how to budget your finances, how to manage. This one thing about this guy, he is a great manager. He manages time, manages finances. He's going to share those things with us. He's going to talk about even how to increase your credit score. This man is going to talk about how to create passive income, the importance of creating passive income and also creating multiple streams of income. I am going to be taking notes. So if you don't have a pen and paper, make sure you grab one and let's get it rolling. Last thing that I want to do before we introduce the first speaker is to share with you our platform. We are online. We have a website. It's MEPA, MEPA. As a matter of fact, it's going to be on the chat. Go ahead and you can look on the chat right here. You can look on the chat and it's going to be on here. It is MEPA-Atlanta, spelled all the way out, .com. And that's going to be on the chat as well as our Cash App. Our Cash App is MEPA Atlanta, no symbols in between, just one word, MEPA Atlanta, hashtag MEPA Atlanta. And you can send donations on there as well. And that's also going to be in the chat as well. So you can get the correct spelling. Get your pen and paper, get your information, and get this information. Donate, even as we're on this call, send in a donation. These donations are going into the various programs that we are establishing to empower other individuals. We turn boys to men. We turn prince to kings. You understand? Literally, we strategically do this. We have a program set in order to advance individuals. All right. So with no further ado, I want to introduce King J to the platform to give us this powerful message. Ladies and gentlemen, King J.
Thank you. Jeremiah, I appreciate all that. Warm welcome. I just want to say I'm so proud to be a part of the MEPA Summit 2020, especially in 2020, and everybody knows why. So I just want to bring to the table, the piggyback off of what Jeremiah was saying and saying that, yes, we are definitely raising princes to be kings. I have a son myself. He just turned 6, and I definitely want him to be. He's being raised to be a king, like his father. And anyone a part of MEPA knows what all that means. I can't do that without leading him in the direction that he needs to go. And one of the main reasons that all of us who are part of MEPA have come to be a part of MEPA is to empower other men and ourselves, and by byproduct, all our families, our friends, our wives, mothers, daughters, empowering through us. They are a byproduct of that empowerment. One of the things that is most important in life is a part of doing that is knowing how to manage your finances so that when positions and things come about your way, you are in position to take advantage of those things. One of the things that has always stuck with me is when I've seen homeless men on the street, homeless women on the street, I always wonder what happened to that person. You know, what was the cause and effect of them being in the situation that they're now in? And one thing I truly believe is there's a lot of things that may have contributed, but as we know, the homeless situation and people who have mental health issues or whatever the case may be, usually if you track back the steps, it starts with if somebody's out on the street, that means they can't afford to have a home to lay their head. And I wanted to make sure that anyone who I know, including family, friends, or whatever, never have to go down that path or end up at that path. So to be not on that track, you definitely need to know how to manage your finances and to establish yourself in a way where you're never having to worry about those type of things. So just to dive right in on what I was asked to speak of is a real discussion about the truths about managing your finances, why it's important, why it's especially important for us as Black men and Black women, and also concentrate on why it's important as a team to make sure that we are in position for whatever opportunities come our way, in position to either take advantage of those or so financially strong that we can walk away if need be. When I was young, I just thought all things were equal. You know, I thought, oh, you know, I got as good a shot as anyone else, you know, to do what I need to do to progress as a Black man. I quickly realized that that was not the case. I realized that as a Black man, we may think that things are equal, but usually the case is I have several friends who they may not be able to see it, but you can definitely tell that they were put in position from birth where they were ahead of the game. You know, I have a neighbor who is happens to be the founder of Chick-fil-A, grandson, and you know, let's just say he's a good guy, but there were definitely advantages thrown his way when he was a kid that, you know, he's been able to take advantage of that I know my son has never had to this point, but he's had a better start than I had. We didn't have properties that were passed down from generation. We didn't have generational education. You know, well, me and my sister were the first of any to go to college and graduate. You know, my mom and my father knew nothing about college education. You know, they didn't have those. They weren't led to be able to do those things and be successful at them. They went back and made their own path, which is, you know, a way that I learned from. And we just need to do everything we need to do to get to a point where we are at least even. And that's why it's very important that we manage our finances. We know the importance of generating wealth, wealth passed down to our next of kin, educational background, the weight of what that looks like when it's passed down, when you get your kids on the track, and the financial equaling of what that equals out to for the next generations, and putting them in a better position to be successful and wealthy in their own right. So in these cases, I want to just go forth and kind of give you an idea of where we're at and what we need to do to move forward. You want to be able to have 3 things that you want to put in order. You want to put in order your budget, your credit, establishing your credit, and you want to be able to put in passive income into those parts. Let me just say, like I said, my father, he worked as a plastics factory worker. My mother worked as a maid. My father, decades later, my son, my father my stepfather worked as a truck driver. So point being, none of them made over $50,000 a year during their lifetime. And it was just very important for me to figure out a way to not go down that same path. As I said, my mom worked as a housekeeper. And the person who was her boss for years, his name was Doug Smith. And he started a company that ended up being the 9th largest industrial distribution company in the country. And what I learned from Doug Smith was not so much about the numbers and the how-to, but what I learned from him was the mindset of being a self-made person, a self-made man, and not have a kind of failing mentality, that I'm behind the 8 ball and nothing can be done about it. I just learned to have a better mentality about winning, about making things happen, no matter what the obstacles. And so going from that point on, he taught me a lot in that way about being in a position to gain generational wealth. And by the time when I was 18, I knew nothing about credit because of, my parents didn't know anything about that. I knew nothing about finances or budgeting or any of that. But by the time I was 22, after being basically mentored by this man and just watching him, I had my own business. And at the age of 22, I was making 156 grand a year. And I did what I needed to do, and that was without a high school diploma at that time, by the way. So when I was 22, I did not have a high school or a college diploma, and I was making nearly 200 grand, a year for probably about the next 7 to 8 years. So fast forward to now, and I know that my family now, like I said, we're birthing kings and queens. I know this to be true for all of you out there. I know everyone who's listening is the same way. So just as the MEPA thing is, as kings, we don't try, we do. So the only thing left to do now is to know the what and the how. The first thing you'll want to do is establish how much of a positive cash flow you actually have to work with. Your net income is what you have after you subtract your taxes. So you'll want to go start with that, and what I know as the 50-30-20 method. Your 50% is what you are using from what you basically, what your expenses are, what your real needs are. And so you're going to start with your 50% of what your needs are. You'll also do 30% of what your wants are, and 20% of your savings and debt emergency fund. So 50% is, what you would take from your household utilities, your housing, your groceries. So you would take those amounts and you would use those to subtract from your overall net expenses. Then you would start with your 30% of what your wants are, things like Netflix, dining out, new pair of $300 shoes, whatever the case may be, things that you may want, but you don't necessarily need. Then your next 20% of your overall net income, you want to subtract 20% of that for savings and debt paying off or emergency fund. If your combined needs and wants is about $2,000, let's say it's about $2,000, and you want to put forth at least 6 to 12 months of savings for that, for those that savings or debt emergency fund, which would be roughly $12,000 to $24,000. In case anything happened, you want to be definitely have that on standby so that you could be support your family or anything that would happen, so you wouldn't be out on the street, basically. So from there, you want to make sure that you're paying off your debts with that type of money, with your savings and debt fund. You also want to pay off any loans, credit cards, etc. You want to have a retirement fund, savings, IRA, which stands for individual retirement account. Those particular things are what you want to go forth with and make sure you have on your budget. You want to have 50% of your income coming for your want, for your needs, and 20%, 30% for your wants, and 20% for your savings and debt, paying off your debt. Final thing you want to be able to try to do is to grow some type of passive income. So you want to say, what is passive income? So your passive income is any income that you have coming in where you have minimal to little work being done in return from yourself. Examples of passive income could be rental properties, dividend stocks, automated services, blogs, credit, creating an app, Airbnb. Any of those things could be considered passive income. And you can leverage your cash, your credit to take advantage of those opportunities when they come, but you have to be in position to do that when you have to be ready to do that when they fall in your lap, and they trust and believe they will fall in your lap all throughout the year. You will have these opportunities. So if you can have, point being, if you can have your budget together, your 50 by 30 by 20, if you can have your credit in a great position, taking advantage of all those things, you can then leverage those things into taking advantage of some passive income, and going from there those things will help you greatly. These are things that we all, I would strongly suggest you make as priorities to guide you in managing your finances. These are basic things that we can all do to help us be successful. And I hope these things were of some help to you and might lead to you having unlimited financial success and freedom, which is ultimately what it's all about when it comes to empowering ourselves and other people around us. Is you want to be able to empower yourself first off, because as we all know, if you can't help yourself, you can't really afford to help anyone else. So any way that I can help anyone get more clarity, please reach out to our MEPA website or contact me directly. I will put out some information before the end of this. And I would leave you with this. Like I said, you want to have financial freedom, financial success. And what that means is freedom for your life, for yourself, for your kids, and passing down a generational wealth of ideas and actual wealth. So I want to thank y'all for listening. All y'all listening to me and my story. I wish you all the best, the most peace and blessings and unlimited success. Thank you very much.
My name is Jacoby Martin. I'm a proud MEPA man. I'm a proud Black business owner of Quality Constructors here in Atlanta, Georgia. I also have a subsidiary to my company, who is QC Builders, LLC, which is located in Little Rock, Arkansas. I am a commercial and residential remodeler / builder. I've been in business for myself for about 18 years now. I've been a MEPA man for about 2 years now, and once I became a member of MEPA, I have been thrust into forcing myself to become a more powerful and leader in my company and also in my community. In Little Rock, Arkansas, I have the opportunity of mentoring and employing some of the men that are having problems, drug abuse and homelessness. So I'm associated with a shelter there in Little Rock. I get the opportunity to teach men who are having problems in their lives to kind of help them restart themselves and give them a career, something that they can possibly get back with their families and support their families. I love having the opportunity to help others. Also, I love the opportunity of having the position of taking people's dreams that they have with their homes and turning it into a reality, be it putting an addition on the back of the house or fixing their kitchen, remodeling their bathroom. So that is a privilege that God has made my hands. I like to sometimes refer to it as, I like to be like Jesus. I'm a carpenter. I can use my hands and create things that most people find hard to do. It is an honor to be a MEPA man, and I look forward to being a leader in the community associated with MEPA and affecting the world.
My name is Marlon Barbour, and I'm a proud member of MEPA. I am also creator and founder of I Am ASAP, #1, I provide an online virtual school called ASAP School, which provides students the education through modules where they can study on topics such as issues of tolerance and racial intolerance, issues of inclusion, social justice, civic engagement, and entrepreneurship. Number 2, I provide a podcast where I bring on guest speakers monthly to talk about issues and topics that matter most to people, called the I Am ASAP podcast. And number 3, I provide a STEM-based educational program, a curriculum that has modules which teaches underserved, underprivileged, low-income populations, more specifically, students of color, and even more specifically, African-American males, how to win in the long game in life. So what people don't know is that ASAP was a slave whose freedom was taken away from him, and who, more importantly, was said to be a man of color. He was said to be a person who had funny looking features. He was extremely dark skinned, had some issues, some body disfigurement. And the reason why I named my program I Am ASAP is because I relate so much to ASAP in that I was also incarcerated at the age of 18 for a crime that I did not commit. And just like ASAP, I was able to win my freedom by creating stories. ASAP has written, it's said that he has written over 600 something fables. Some of you may be familiar with the Fox and the Hound. And I know, more importantly, a lot of you, if not all of you, know about the story of the tortoise and the hare. And I relate to him in the sense that I, as a storyteller, that did the same thing in rewriting one of his greatest fables, The Tortoise and the Hare, with my version being called Begin Your Race Being Tortoise, which is how I created my STEM program to teach students how to win in the long game in life. You can find out this information and so much more on asapschool.com. Thank you. And I am a MEPA man.
All right. This is amazing. Look, I want to first of all thank King J for his dynamics message. Look, I told you guys that I'm going to be taking notes, right? Did I lie? Did I lie to y'all? Nah, I ain't lie. Nothing but the truth. You see behind me, you can barely see it, but I went ahead and took some notes, and I hope you guys took some too, because I want to thank him for giving us that powerful message. And also I want to thank the 3 kings that shared their businesses. You understand? Each individual gave what their business is and what the purpose of their business is. Powerful stuff. That's just a small percentage, because the massive the organization as itself, at least 95%, at least 95% of the men that are part of MEPA are business individuals. You understand? So it helps, we help advance each other, you know. So but before we introduce the next speaker, I want to reiterate the importance of you going online to our website. I need you to do this. Now, I need you to listen to me, listen to me very, very carefully, because I speak in English, and people do not really understand when I tell you something. So when I tell you to do this, you have to take the time and do this now. Do you hear me? You're looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about. You need to do this. So go to the website. Go to the website. So I have been telling you, it is in the chat box. Go to the website. It is mepa-atlanta.com. You need to do it. You have to do it. So the other thing I need you to do, I need you to donate to the MEPA organization. I need you to donate something. As a matter of fact, why in the beginning, from the time I told you to donate now, I have 2 individuals that has donated so far. I need more people to donate now. Do you hear me? I'm gonna stop playing with y'all. I want to introduce another brother of mine. All right. So remember, I told you, first of all, in the book of Proverbs, it says that in a wise man has a multitude of counselors. A wise man. It didn't say a wise man does it by himself. It says a wise man has a multitude of counselors. This is one of mine right here. Okay. I behoove you to take notes. I behoove you to write this information down so that we can practice. Don't just take notes or get excited. Make sure we take action. All right. So with no further ado, I want to bring to the platform right now, our Zoom MEPA platform, my brother, none other than King CW, Clarence Williams.
Well, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. All right. So first I want to say, Jeremiah, thanks for that wonderful introduction. I want to say thank you to all of the brothers who have taken the time to put this event together. It's been a lot of work behind the scenes, and I want to just tell you I appreciate it. I'm honored to be among you as a MEPA man. So one, the most important thing that we're going to talk about today is what I believe is 4 of the most important areas of your life. I call it the 4 wheels of life, right? And really the goal is to help you focus on what matters most. And when I say that, I don't mean what matters most to everybody else. I mean what matters most to you. So I'm not talking what matters most to your boss at work, your wife, your children. That's important, but I'm saying what matters most to you. And really what I'm saying is what matters most to you and God, right? And so at the end of the day, I'm going to talk a little bit about defining your mission, setting goals, and getting solid, good results, right? And so my name's Clarence Williams. Thanks for the great introduction, Jeremiah. I'm a business and marketing strategist. So, what does that really mean? I actually like going into businesses and working for that business to help the owner of that business have clarity, right? To set goals, to create that roadmap to business success, right? And so in 2013, I wrote a book called High Octane Performance, right? And let me be clear, the book is on Amazon. You can go check it out, but I'm going to talk about some of the concepts in that book today. Am I trying to drive you to go get the book? Not necessarily. I mean, go get it, wonderful. But I'm going to share a lot of the concepts that's in the book today. But I will read something from the book that matters to me, right? And it's really the dedication, right? So again, I wrote it in 2013, and the dedication is to my children. I expect you to read this in your teenage years. The exercises in this book are the things I would like for you to do before you leave home as an adult and decide to go out on your own. I believe you were born to be members of a talented 10% of society that is responsible for making contributions that will shape the future. Now, while that was written for my children, I want to share something that makes a difference, that hopefully will make a difference in your life and your journey, right? And your road to success, right? And so in the book, I use the analogy of a car. And when I say that, I use the analogy of a high performance car, right? And that's important because a high performance car requires a lot of maintenance, right? And so what's critical and what we're going to talk about and focus on today is the 4 wheels of that vehicle, right? And when I say the 4 wheels, I mean the 4 areas of your life that that matter that you need to set goals in every single day. And when I say that, you actually engage in all four of these areas in your life every single day, and you either do it consciously or unconsciously. And when you set goals and you plan, you're doing it consciously, going in a positive direction. But when you don't think about it, when you don't plan it, when you don't sit down and actually consciously focus on these areas and what you want your outcome to be, it will impact your future. So what are those four areas? One, I call it your financial life or your financial wheel, right? And that includes things like economics, business, profits, wealth, and legacy. And let me just say that what's critical, you know what, I'm gonna go into each one of these areas in the following slides. But let's just say this one is one of the most important, and then piggybacking on what Brother Jay was talking about earlier, it starts with your personal finance, right? And then the next one is your educational will or your educational life, right? Which has to do with knowledge, wisdom, or your functional know-how. The other one is your relationship will, the people in your life important to you, right? And your team on that road to success. And then the last one is health and fitness, or your health and fitness life, maintaining a mental and physical health and avoiding sickness, right? And so while I'm going to focus on the things that's on the right side of this screen here, some other things or concepts in the book that matter, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them, but they matter a lot, is one, the gas, right? And it really represents your spiritual life. And you know, at a high level, let's say we all have to go to the gas pump. And typically when we go, we see three choices, right? I mean, we probably see more choices, you know, with diesel, gas, and that type of stuff. But follow me when it comes to the analogy. But usually if you have a typical car that takes either 87, 89, or 93, or I would say the low octane, mid octane, and high octane, what I'm suggesting is that you want to burn 93, because if you have that mission to do awesome things in your life, it's going to require high octane gas or a very strong and powerful spiritual life. And so the engine represents your mission. And then changing the oil actually is a lot to do with what we're talking about today. And on a consistent basis, what you want to do is make sure you change your oil, set goals that you hit. And then if you look here at the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that you have a steering wheel, right? And bottom line is you're the driver. Nobody else is taking over. We realize that. However, it's important for you to have the navigation in place when you have a good idea of where you're going and what your mission is. And what is that navigation? That's the people, that can help you see that you're going in the right direction. They can be that compass that says you're going in the right direction, or they can be that GPS because they've been there. They've owned the business. They've done what they needed to do in their life in terms of success. They're paying back, and they can help you get there faster and help you create that roadmap. And that's why you have the Brothers of MEPA here that could help you on that journey. So let's start with your financial life, right? So here's what's critical. The stuff that Jay was talking about earlier, that's the fundamentals. That's critical. In this economy, it is absolutely critical that you master, not only just start and start working with it and do a little, no, master it. You master your personal finances so that you can participate in this free enterprise a society that we live in and move forward and own businesses and understand what it means to create a profit. But let me back up. When I say own a business, you have the ability to own that business as a sole proprietor, and you just go out and create commerce, create value, get paid for it. However, when you start to really consider making profits and creating wealth and creating a legacy, it is critical that you understand the business structures that allow you to create wealth. You understand what an LLC is. You understand what an S corporation, a C corporation, a trust. The most important is understand that each of those entities allows you to have certain transactions that's not available to the average individual, right? So it's critical that you understand those structures, because it's critical when it comes to building that legacy. Now, and so I'm gonna move on, but at the end of the day, that first will is your financial life. And one of the things I'll say is that you're not by yourself. What's critical here is that you have a group of men who have either been through it or that you can actually partner with to go through it together. But at the end of the day, you have a team of folks that you can reach out and say, you know what, I need help. So as you continue on that journey, right, you have your educational wheel. And when I say that, I mean all of the information that's available on your smartphone, on your computer, through TV, all of that information, as well as what's in the library, as well as what's in the different medium that we have that educates us every day. You know, I think it's Sadhguru. He's a popular Indian philosopher. He said, and I'm going to get this wrong, I'm going to paraphrase, but he says, when you block information, in other words, because we have information coming from different directions, but when you block information, you're dead. So let me say that again. When you stop the flow of information coming from all different directions, right, you are dead. In other words, a dead person is not going to receive information. However, when you learn how to filter that information and make sure you receive the information that is the best for your mission, your goals, what you're supposed to do in life, that's when you maximize the information that you have access to. We live in a wonderful time that gives us access to more information than any other time in history. So let me just make a point. There was a time in this country when it was illegal for Black folks to have an education. And that wasn't too long ago, right? And so to have the opportunity to have access to information, the same, close to the same information that everybody else has access to, that's absolutely a blessing that we live during this time when it comes to education. So you wanna consume that knowledge, right? And over time, spiritually, God will turn it into wisdom and the functional know-how so that you have capabilities and opportunity beyond most people around you, right? And again, and you're gonna see this as a recurring theme. You wanna reach out to the brothers of MEPA and say, hey man, you know, I'm having a problem. I need help with something. And you'll find out that there are brothers out there who have done it. And the ones who have not done it, what they'll do is they will humbly help you reach out to somebody else or help you build a plan to go to that next level, right? So let's move on. That next wheel, is your relationship wheel. And let me tell you something, this is critical. When I was 29, I was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in an empty apartment that I owned. And it was a pivot point in my life. It was before I had children. It was before I was married. And I sat down and went through this process that I'm explaining to you. And I sat down and I now mind you, and I have to be clear, I'm blessed to have both my parents. I have 10, my parents together had 10 children. I'm blessed because those are the only children that they've had. I have I have 6 brothers and 1 sister. And you know, what's amazing is that between us, we have over 35 nephews and nieces. So my parents have 35 children that are blood children, and then there's another 10 or 15 that call my parents their grandparents because of what parenting really means. Now, what's interesting is that I sat down and I wrote, and I'll encourage you to do this. I sat down, drew a circle, and I mapped out every single one of those people in my life that I wanted to build a individual relationship with. And when you do this, I'm going to tell you, make sure you put in their name. If you don't put a circle and say people from work. No, be specific. People from work, but no, talk about that individual. Talk about that individual in MEPA that you want to build a relationship with, right? Talk about that individual in your family that you want to go deeper with, and, you know, and when it comes to any kind of relationship. And I'm telling you to take the time to do this. Take the time to do this. Let's move on. Now, the final wheel is your health and wellness, right? Your mental health, physical health, and avoiding sickness, right? And I'm going to tell you that this is an individual responsibility. It is your responsibility to be healthy, not your doctor's, not anybody else around you. It is absolutely your responsibility to understand the foods that you put in your body that keep you healthy, and the foods that you put in your body that will make you sick for an extended period of time. And it is also important that you understand the difference between the power that doctors bring to the table and the power that other alternative health providers. So, for example, my mom is in the hospital right now. And you know, and I'll say that's not a bad thing. Actually, she has diabetes, and she's going through some of the normal stuff that folks with diabetes go through. But what's interesting is that my mom, for the last 15 years, she's been eating healthy. And what's happened is diabetes actually has been her biggest challenger. But because she's been eating healthy, her recovery has been phenomenal, right? And so one, when you understand doctors, so she went to the hospital, she had an emergency. Well, you know what? Doctors in the US and a few other countries like Cuba, what have you, we're talking some of the best medical doctors in this country. What do they do well? They make sure that they can take you from an emergency situation and help you stabilize, right? However, after you're stable, or before you get into that emergency situation, it is your responsibility to make sure you exercise, make sure you do all of the stuff that creates that healthy lifestyle. You want to make sure you understand what weight control means and you set goals in that area. You want to make sure you exercise. You want to make sure you understand what it means to be healthy before you get sick. And I'll say that in the Black community, we need to do it more so than anything, because sometimes in order for us to be healthy, we got to go out of our neighborhoods and go somewhere that has the healthy fruits and vegetables and things that we need, or we need to grow our own food, right? And again, you know, if you're struggling there or there's a problem, and I'll tell you, men, Black men, we don't talk enough about what's going on in our lives. And let me be clear. When it comes to stuff associated with our private areas or our genitals, if you have a problem going on right now that has something to do with that, you better talk to somebody about it, because those are the kind of situations that if you don't, as soon as you decide to go to the hospital or do something about it, sometimes it could be too late. So I'm saying to you, you know, have that healthy lifestyle and make sure that in advance, right, that you are doing the things necessary to stay healthy. Healthy is wealthy. Now, there's something that you want to do consistently. So if you remember, I said change the oil and changing the oil is related to setting goals. And one of the things I would suggest you do, and to stay in line with the analogy of a car, every day you need to really kick your tires and set goals. Every day you need to look at your goals and see if you're hitting them, reset those goals, You know, the things that, like, for example, this morning, I didn't go to the gym the way I had expected to, and I committed to a personal trainer 2 days ago. And so I'm like a day and a half, 2 days behind because I was getting ready for this, but that's no excuse. After this, I'm going to leave and go to the gym, right? Because at the end of the day, you set those goals. When you miss them, you actually reset on a weekly basis. Check your fluids, and what that means is look at your goals, look at everything you've done, and make sure that you have done what you needed to do that's consistent with the goals you've set. And then on a monthly basis, you want to make sure you reach out to your accountability partner. And I would say, make sure it could be somebody from the MEPA team. It could be somebody in your family, but make sure you have that accountability partner that you reach out to and say, hey, look, I'm not sure if I'm on track or not. Can you help me get on track? And then quarterly, you want to change the oil. What does that really mean? It really means sitting down and spending quality time, and I would say at least an hour, quality time, diagramming out all 4 of those tires and making sure that you are going in a direction that's consistent with your mission, right? And then yearly, I would say minor maintenance. A minor maintenance is you doing that same exercise with somebody else on your team. Again, go to a MEPA man to get help with something like this. And then every 3 to 5 years, we're talking a major maintenance. And I would say it probably takes hours, and it will be very similar to the first time you go through this exercise. All right. I got it. So the last thing we'll talk about is, as you get close to the finish line, you need to know this, right? You need to know that there is no finish line. You have to set new goals before you hit your goals. You have to actually set a goal, new goals, so that you don't go through the ebb and flows of life. And when you get down to the bottom, you know, of a curve, you don't have something. You need to make sure that before you start going down you know, on that curve, you need to make sure that you're ready for that new goal, that new objective, or whatever it is in your, you know, on your mission line that you need to take care of. And, you know, I was talking to a brother yesterday. He knows who I am. I mean, he knows who I'm talking about, right? And when you get there and you start being successful, you need to understand that we have not arrived. If you're on this call and you have a successful business, you're on this call and you know that you've done this stuff. You've done this stuff that's on this call where you've looked at every area of your life. You've done those things. This might not be new information to you, but what it might be is the foundation. What it means, it may be you have everything now to be able to help somebody else, right? And so what I'm going to do in closing is a couple things. One, I want to give you a special invitation, right? If you're on this call, I want you to go to businessstrategymaps.com/MEPA, MEPA. I've set up, so I have my team and I have set up a business strategy maps application. The purpose of it is to help you strategize with your business. And when you go there, you're going to get 11 templates, 10 templates related to marketing on being able to develop that product or service and the flow that you should create while you're doing that. And then the last one is associated with everything in this presentation, and it gives you a template that you can start with so that you can make it easy. And what I would suggest is sit down, play with it, spend the time, and if you do, there's a special invitation on that link that you have that I won't even talk about. You got to go to the link. You get 7 days. If you can't do it within 7 days, you don't get free access to it. It's $500 that is on me that you get access to for 90 days. After that 90 days, you could actually download your maps and keep them, but you're not responsible for anything, right? And then the last thing I'll say, right, in closing is, you know, understand these components, right? Your spiritual life, your mission, setting goals, being that driver and understanding your responsibility, and then reaching out to folks to help you on your journey, right? And so let me close within the next 30 seconds and say, I feel blessed to be part of the folks on this that's part of the MEPA team that's on this Zoom call, and those folks that are dedicated to helping young men get to that next level in life. And I'm humbled that, you know, I am associated with such powerful men. So I'll say thank you, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen.
Hello, everybody. This is Andrew Gillum. I know it's been a while since we've had an opportunity to connect, but as many of you know, I decided to take some time away to work on myself, deal with some issues that I was having. I went away to rehab to focus on my issues with alcoholism, having grown up in a household where my father battled addiction to alcohol and later died from complications from that deadly addiction. I know well the toll that alcohol can take on not only the individual, but also on the family. I know well the toll that it took on my father's dreams, on his hopes, on his ambitions. And I knew that if I didn't want to recycle many of those same issues for my children, that I had to do something about it, and I had to do it now. With a lot of encouragement from family and the people who love and care about me, I also got into therapy where I could start to talk through some of what was going on with me. I knew that if I had not dealt first with issues of addiction and the numbing that I chose with alcohol, there was no way I could start to pull back the layers and talk about what was truly happening underneath. Therapy created the outlet for me to be able to do that, to be able to talk to somebody. I had totally underestimated the impact that losing the race for governor had on my life and on the way those impacts started to show up in every aspect of my life. I didn't want to talk emotionally or really deeply about what had happened in the race for governor because it was a constant reminder of failure and my own personal failures. It was a reminder that I had let so many people down. It was a chorus of this voice that I tried for so long to quiet, which said that I wasn't enough, that I wasn't good enough. All the things that I wanted to suppress and numb and forget about, that depression around what I was experiencing there became far too much for me to keep down. And that's the real crazy thing about depression is that a lot of times we think we're dealing with it. We're strong and we'll put on a brave face and it bubbles up on the inside. But eventually what is bubbling up on the inside is going to come out. And I certainly know what it felt like to see that come out. The feelings I was having as a result of what happened in November, the fact that the office that I thought I could do the most for other people and for the state that I love, I no longer had access to. But not only that, after having spent 16, 17 years as an elected official, the thing I knew how to do well, the thing that gave me an outlet to go and try to change the community in the way that I thought would make it better, all of that was all of a sudden gone. And it really did cause me to think about my own purpose and my own value and what I could contribute, if anything. And I didn't want to have to face all those things. And so I numbed. I tried to suppress. I tried to ignore. And as I said, those things come up and they have a way of showing out. So I did the one thing that I knew I could do. And that was I got busy. For those of you on the outside, you were looking at me and you saw me on television. You saw me giving speeches and traveling and, posting on Instagram and Facebook like I was living my best life. And in truth, I was perfecting what it meant to wear the mask, suffering in silence because I simply could not bring myself to deal square on with what was happening more deeply inside of me. If there was a lesson to learn, if there was something I would want you to take from me, it would be don't be like me. Don't suffer in silence. Get access to the help that you need. So many of us, think that we got to perpetrate this image of perfection. I know I did. This image of strength, this image of I've got it all together. But the truth is nobody has it all together. That's the big secret. All of us are struggling and trying and clawing at trying to be something else when we really ought to be trying to just be at home in ourselves. And that's really the journey that I'm on right now. This very deep down desire to want to be a whole and complete and indivisible person, not having to be one thing in one place and one thing in another and a different person, when I'm in this environment and in this setting. And I know that all of us struggle with different layers of that. While my stuff had to be, public and, cause, great embarrassment and lots of rumors, false, some true. The shame that I felt from all of that, from the harm that I had caused, was tearing me up. I needed real help to try to unpack that. It's one thing to feel guilty for a harm you feel you may have caused someone. That's how you know you're human. That's how you know you're not a sociopath. But shame is something completely different. Shame is like kudzu. It takes over you from the inside out. It has no real meaning and redeemable purpose other than to keep you from being the person you need to be. Other than stopping you from being your truest self, other than keeping you from your own purpose and promise, it has no other purpose. It has no other meaning. It has no other desire. And so get rid of shame. Forget about shame. I know it took me quite a while to try to process my way through that. There's so much going on in the world. We got COVID. COVID hit very close to home for us. I watched my mother battle with that virus for over a month as we watched on helplessly, not sure how that whole thing was going to turn out, man. Take care of yourself. There's a lot of pressure there. There's pressure with what we're seeing right now in the country around this Black Lives Matter movement and anti-blackness. I know as a black man, what it means just to have to convince people that your life has meaning, convince people that, your life has purpose, not to be set above anybody, but just to be treated on a level that's equal with everybody else around you. That's a lot of pressure. And I think it sometimes causes us to look for other ways to try to numb and put ourselves in a different mindset and do some mind shift. But y'all, this thing is killing us. Depression is killing us. Suffering in silence is literally taking so many of our lives. And I would just want you not to have to experience what I had to experience to get to a place where you can try to begin the work to being at your best and to becoming your best self. I want to thank a person who is my life partner, my wife, RJ, a woman who knows everything that I am and everything that I am not. And she chooses to love me anyhow. A woman who is literally God's grace on earth, the epitome of grace. I can't thank her enough for not just standing by me, but encouraging me through this and helping to prop me up on my leaning sides and to tell me that even though we don't know what the future looks like, that she believes that this is just the beginning and that the best is still yet to come, not just for me, but for her and for for us and for our family. And so I would also pass that on to you to the extent that any of us need to just hear a word that says, our better days are still in front of us. This is a tough moment not to be out in the world and contributing. I have found it particularly difficult, but I want you to know that although I can't be what I would love to be for you and for myself and for my community at this time, I hope you know that I couldn't be those things because I couldn't be what I needed to be for me first. And that's what I'm working on at this point in time. So I hope you'll continue to send good thoughts and good vibes up for me and my family. I'll do the same for you. I know that there is better, that there is a promise for better. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Take care and God bless.
Gentlemen, kings, noblemen, what's up, what's up, what's up? All right, I just want to give a shout out to a couple of my brothers on here. My brother, hey, look at him, look at him. Stephon, what are you doing, my brother? Look at him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh man, I'm just taking it all in, man. I totally love the analogies, man. That was like spot on. I was definitely able to completely empathize and identify with what he was saying with just those analogies. Like, I mean, yeah, it's self-explanatory. It's all really just cut and dry. Good.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Powerful, powerful. Hey, let me see. Rodney, I see you there. Oh, look at him. Rodney is in Savannah. He's a good brother of mine. He's in Savannah right now. I want to give him a shout out. Let us see. Let us see. Oh, we have women. Oh, Chawawa, we have women on here.
It is good. All the information, it is good.
It is good. Phenomenal. I like it. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us. I see Melanie on here as well. Hey, look at her. Oh, my sister. Hey.
Great information. We're enjoying it.
Amazing. This is so amazing. This is so amazing. I tell you, thank you so much for joining us today. I just had to do a shout out, man, to everybody that's on here. Like, this is amazing. And I'm so excited about everybody. Like, literally, I don't take it lightly, man. You guys taking your time and coming on here it means everything to us. All us Memphis men, it means everything to us. And as you can see, we are not sexist. You understand? We're not saying, oh, this is just for the men. What y'all doing on here? No, y'all supposed to bring y'all spouses on here. My wife is on here. You understand? Oh, yeah, shout out to you, baby. Yeah, shout out to you, baby. But, guys, I just want to, thank you for being with us on here today. We are about to conclude our MEPA Summit. But before we do, man, we have one last speaker. First of all, I need y'all to stand up. Yeah, go ahead and stand up. Yeah, TJ, I see you. I saw you standing. Yeah, I see you standing. Jacoby, what's up, man? Yeah, I see you. Look, I'm watching y'all. And everybody that don't have y'all cameras on, y'all, listen, y'all tripping. Yeah, because you don't want to be, I'm going to call you out. Yeah, Joe, I saw you. You just standing. Jay standing. Look. Hey, Clarence is already standing. Clarence is already standing. The pastor. The bishop. The father. The husband. The founder. And the king. Marcus Martin. Round of applause to the stage.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. God bless you. Oh Lord, deliver me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lord, I bless your name. I need you. 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 We bless your name this morning. We bless your name this morning. We bless your name this morning. Deliver us, oh God. Help us to be what you call us to be. We need your help. I need your help. We 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 need your help. Somebody's coming out today. Somebody's coming into their what today? We're making our exodus today, oh God. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is my exodus. This is my exodus. This is my exodus. This is my exodus. This is my new beginning. This is my new beginning. This is my new beginning. This is my exodus. I'm coming out of from where I am. I'm going to where I promised to be. Thank you, Lord. 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 Lord, I thank you. Father, in the name of Jesus. Father, in the name of Jesus. I'm your servant. And I'm here to serve your people. Search my heart. If there's anything in my heart, God, that's contrary to your divine will, I declare that you will forgive me. It's all about you, God. It's all about your people. It's all about us serving your people. It is in Jesus' name that we make this declaration. Amen and amen. I want to welcome you to MEPA Summit. I want to thank our great speakers today. Jay Everhart, Clarence Williams. I want to thank the testimonies. I want to thank the businesses that are part of MEPA. I want to thank those that are working behind the scene. I want to thank those of you that are watching and supporting us financially. God bless you. Peace, blessing, and wholeness unto you. Let's get this party started. I got my daughter helping me in the background this morning. Travel all over the world. Have my daughter listening. I have my wife listening and supporting. I want to thank you for that. We love you. Let's get this party started right. My subject matter today is, and thank you, Jeremiah, for doing such an awesome job. And those of you that are working on our social media, Donovan, and so many of you, and Malcolm, who's running this thing, thank you so much. Peace and blessing be unto you. God is a rewarder of those that diligently seek him. I'm going to be briefly talking about what is your what. That is my assignment. What is your what this morning? I want to use a scripture because I'm a preacher, so I want to use some scripture to support this. I'm going to be coming from John 10:10. It simply says it like this. The thief comes with the assignment. He comes to steal, he comes to kill, and he comes to destroy. But Jesus said, I came that you might have life, and that you have life with full of abundance. Full of abundance. Are you ready to discover what is your what? The number one amazing thing you've been born to do, which you love to powerfully impact the world that you live in. Would you love to say that I'm a generational changer and I change generation? At some point, you will have to ask and be forced to ask this question. What is your what? What, not what my dad expectation of me, not what my mama expectation of me, not what my uncle or my auntie expectation of me, not what my business partner is expectation of me, or my girlfriend, or either my side piece, or my wife, or my children, or my child, or my homie, or my job, or my career. Not the picture that I paint for my inner circle. Yes, there is some accountability to these people that I mentioned, but what is your what? Your what is bigger than other people's expectations of you, even though we know that there's an amount of accountability that is important. Well, what would your what be? What would your what be if you didn't have to be concerned about being judged by your peers, being judged by society, being judged by culture or religion or traditions of friends, of loved ones, opinions, or judged by yourself? What would your what be if you could take the mass of unrealistic expectations off for the next 4 weeks? Who would you be? Well, Pastor, what you know we need restraints. Of course we need restraint, but are the restraints so tight that you cannot move? That you cannot be who God has called you to be? That you can be the person that walk in the divine purpose that God has called you to walk in? What would be your what if you didn't have these mental, physical, spiritual restraints, not allowing you to be who God has divinely called you to be? What is your what? Well, Pastor, you asking me all of these questions, and I have not had the opportunity to even answer the question of what is my what. The reason why I'm asking you all these questions, because these are all the things you have to consider before you land on your what. Until you can land on your what, you got to ask yourself some serious questions. And oftentimes as men, we don't deal with what's really going on. We deal with surface issues. That's why it's so easy to talk about everything else and not talk about what's going on with you. Because oftentimes we can't trust not only ourselves, but we can't trust those who are around us. Because many of you that are watching today, many of you have been hurt and wounded and disappointed because you shared something with someone and they took it and used it against you. Even some of you men are looking now. You even said at one point your girlfriend or your wife was your best friend, and you shared that part of your life and those skeletons in your closet, and then in the heat of the moment, you found it being used against you. And somewhere you lost your trust and you lost a part of your relationships. Because if I can't trust my mate, who can I trust? So I'm asking all these questions so that you can get to the bottom. It's like a surgeon. A surgeon just don't cut and butcher, but he delicately uses his knife after he numbs you, after he have gone to anesthesia, and he cut into each layer. In order for you to come into your what, there are layers And oftentimes these layers are not just your layers, but your daddy and your daddy's daddy and your daddy's daddy's daddy, and even from Africa that have been brought over here, that we have to work and go through these layers of things that have built over generations. What is your what? Have your what got caught up in everyone else's expectation of you? And I'm living out their expectation, and they're not even considered what my expectations are. That's why we're here today to ask the simple question: what is your what? And as we look at this and understand, and now your quality of life not coming into this place could be impacted. And if you're not careful, you can find yourself just getting up, going to work, coming home, eating, getting into bed, and doing the same routine. And started at 20 and coming to a place at 60 and realize you have never lived. And now you have more years behind you and you do in the front of you. What is your what? I can talk from this perspective because I just turned 64. Because I just turned 64, I have more years, I believe, behind me than possibly in the front of me. So your perspective becomes different according to where you are and what you have experienced. Limited exposure create limited expectation. What is your what? So as we look at this today and understand, I'm going to talk about at least 5 things and mention 5 things before I close out that I believe that is important to your what. First thing I want to look at, it comes from a place of conviction. It's not this surface stuff that we let everybody, but this is something that you got to go deep within yourself and be honest to the place that it might be embarrassing and it might be hurt and it might create emotion that I never felt. That it comes from a place, number 1, of conviction. Number 2, it comes from a place where you have overcome and you got real victory. Well, how do you overcome? How do you overcome, Pastor? How do you overcome, Marcus? You overcome by being real with yourself and holding yourself accountable and having others to hold you accountable and having people in your life that you have a great deal of respect for. So when they approach you in an area that you're very sensitive or very wounded, you can get healing and walk in victory in your life. Number 3, it comes from a place of vulnerability. In other words, I love you and I appreciate you. And the truth of the matter, I'm all right if you don't like me. I'm all right if you don't like my journey, because most of us catch people in a journey from one point to another. And that's where oftentimes change occurs from one point to another. So you may catch a person from A to B or C to D or E to X. And that is the time we're changing and that we are involved. So there must be a place of vulnerability, especially those men that are looking on that you have an issue with trust. Then I'm going to be vulnerable because on the other side of this is me and my what. Number 4, it comes from a place that I accept love, forgiveness, strength, and power. I'm going to say that again. That I come to a place that first, before I try to love anybody else, before I try to love my wife, before I try to love my children, before I try to love with my assets, I learn to love me. I learn to love Marcus. So whatever I give from here, I give love because I love me first. Well, somebody say, well, don't you love God first? Yeah, I love God, but I love me too. There ain't no need of loving God and you don't love yourself, because God died and he sent his son to die for us. Forgiveness, and I accept God's love, I accept his forgiveness, I accept his strength. Then I accept the power that he put inside of me. Bible says, greater is he that lives inside of me than he that is in the world. And as I begin to close with my last point, it comes from a place that I love, that over the period of years, it started out with 3 P's. It's grown to 6 P's now. When I'm talking about what it birthed from a place of growth. If I'm in the same place I was at 30, then I am at 64, I have not grown. If I'm still thinking the same way, handling my business the same way, I have not grown. I'm still in the same place. And the real truth of the matter, the reason why I know change come about in people is because they begin to handle their business differently. If you handle your business the same way you was at 28, at 64, you have not come into your what? And it would be such a sad thing to die and never live. I even said to a person the other day, it's so sad when we go to people's funeral and they dead and they never lived. Because they never came into their what? They never came into their purpose. They never came in what God's designed for their lives. I talked about number one, about your place of conviction deep within. I talked about it comes from a place where you overcome and you walk in real victory. And victory is a process. It comes from a place, number 3, where you're vulnerable. I'm all right with being me. Number 4, it comes from a place I accept God's love, forgiveness, His strength, and His power. And number 6, what I call the 6 P's: pain, passion, purpose, power, produce, profit. Now, understanding those of us that have gone to church, they said always pray your pain away. But the Bible said after you suffer a while, He's going to establish you, He's going to settle, He's going to do some things in our lives. Pain is the indicator of what my purpose or what my what is. But between my pain and my purpose and my passion is where my motives are pure. My motives have been tested by fire. It's been tested within me that I'm sincere about what my what is. Pain, passion, purpose. My purpose always will always bring you to your power. That's a place where you walk in, when you walk in, things start happening when God's super rests on your natural. And because God's power rests on our natural, God, I thank you. Supernaturally, it brings me to a place that produces what we call a profit. If your pain does not produce a profit, you may find yourself understanding and going around the same circle because your pain should always produce a profit. So as we look at this today and what is your what, you're going to ask yourself many questions. And I'm going to tell you something. You're going to begin to look at things differently in your life. Because the truth of the matter, some of us are living somebody else's what? It's a terrible thing to have to live. It's all right to be nice. It's all right to be blessed. But what about you? What about God's divine will for you? What about changing a generation? What about impacting your world and everybody else's world? When you walk in the door, something happens supernaturally because now you're walking in your what? What about being the best version of who you are? Not your pastor. Even though your pastor is great, he or she may be struggling with their what? I'm talking about you today. What is your what? Be the best version of you. You'll be ever so happy. And thank you for this time and this moment. God bless you. Peace, wholeness, and love. God bless you.
That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal, guys. I hope you've gotten what I've gotten out of this entire summit. Pain, passion, purpose, power, produce, and profit. Pain, passion, purpose, power, produce, and profit. And a lot of times, before you get to that last one, because a lot of people get excited, oh, hey, about that profit. When you start profiting, you want to shout, right? But a lot of times you got to get to that pain first. You got to go through that pain first. So it's like, listen, this is some really good stuff. Like I'm literally after this is over with, I'm really going to go over this stuff and apply it to my life. All the way from King Jay's portion, the first speaker, to Clarence's portion, the second speaker, all the way to Marcus's portion. I'm gonna put all these together and I'm gonna apply it. I wanna challenge you to do the same thing. All right. Again, lastly, I want to thank every last one of y'all for joining us today. We have come to the end of the program, and thank you guys for taking a portion of your Saturday to join us on this phenomenal program. All right, King Marcus.
Thank you, Jay. Did an awesome job. Thank you, Jeremiah, Mr. Yo, we call him now. Thank you, Jay Everhart. Thank you, Clarence Williams. Thank you, Malcolm. Malcolm is our technology person. Hats off to him. Hats off to our communication team, Joe, Pastor Terrence. Hats off to everybody. Everybody did an awesome job. Those of you behind the scenes, those of you that have been walking with MEPA, those of you that are about to join MEPA, if you're interested in being a part of us, Mr. Yo is already giving out the information. If you don't mind, someone please put the information up that they can get in contact with us by way of our website or by way of our Facebook. Again, I personally thank you and I bless you and thank you for tuning in to MEPA Men's Summit 2020.